everyone! Today we're diving into J.B. Priestley's Mother's Day. This play is fantastic. It's not only really funny, but it's also got this incredibly sharp edge to it. It uses comedy to ask some pretty serious questions about family, respect, and, the role mothers play in all of our lives. So, let's start with something I think we've all felt at some point. You work hard on something, you put your all into it, and nobody even seems to notice, let alone say thank you, right? Well, that exact feeling, that sense of being totally taken for granted, is the spark that ignites the entire story in Mother's Day. So, who's at the heart of all this drama? Well, let's meet the Pearsons. Getting a handle on who they are and how they interact is really the key to unlocking what makes this whole play tick. All right, so here's our cast of characters. First up, we've got Mrs. Pearson. She's sweet, she's kind, but she's so timid that her family basically walks all over her. Then there's her neighbor, Mrs. Fitzgerald, who is literally everything Mrs. Pearson isn't. She's bold, she's confident, she takes no nonsense. And the rest of the family? Well, you've got the pompous husband George, the selfish daughter Doris, and the thoughtless son Cyril. And let me tell you, they have absolutely no idea what's about to hit them. So what is the actual problem that gets this whole thing started? Honestly, it's the quiet sadness of Mrs. Pearson's life. She's like a ghost in her own home, just completely unappreciated for everything she does. And this line from the play, it just sums it up perfectly. In her family's eyes, she's not really a wife or a mother. She's an unpaid domestic servant. She's working from sunup to sundown, and her family is just completely, utterly blind to it all. And it's not just a general feeling, right? The play gives us these really specific, infuriating examples. Doris just waltzes in and demands her dress be ironed, like right now. Cyril comes home and just assumes his tea and his things will be waiting for him. And George? Oh, he's way more concerned about what his buddies at the club think than about his own wife. They all go out and have fun leaving her behind night after night without so much as a thank you. So how in the world do you fix a problem like the Pearsons? Mrs. Pearson is way too gentle to stand up for herself. But her neighbor, the formidable Mrs. Fitzgerald, has a plan. And it is as brilliant as it is, well, bizarre. It's time to bring in a little magic. And you can just see how different these two women are. Mrs. Pearson is gentle, anxious, and she'll do anything to avoid a fight. Mrs. Fitzgerald, on the other hand, she is bold, assertive, and, oh yeah, she happens to know a few magic spells she picked up in the East. She sees that Mrs. Pearson needs to stand up for herself, and she's got a very, very direct way to make that happen. The plan is as simple as it is completely wild. Since Mrs. Pearson can't bring herself to confront her family, Mrs. Fitzgerald is going to do it for her by being in her body. They use a magic spell, they swap personalities, and boom, now Mrs. Pearson's body is walking around with Mrs. Fitzgerald's tough, no-nonsense spirit inside. The goal? To teach the Pearsons a lesson they will never, ever forget. And this, of course, leads directly to the family's very rude awakening. The play actually calls it a shock treatment, and believe me, it begins the absolute second the kids walk through that door. First up is Doris. She just breezes in, demanding her yellow dress be ironed for her date. But instead of her usual timid mom, she finds a woman smoking, drinking, and playing cards. When Doris asks about the dress, her mom not only flat out refuses, but then makes fun of her boyfriend, calling him buckteeth and half-witted. Doris is just floored, completely stunned. Next in the firing line is Cyril. He casually strolls in, asking where his tea is. The new Mrs. Pearson looks at him and basically says, nope, if you want it, you know where the kitchen is. She even tells him she's joined the movement, meaning her days as the family's servant are officially over. Cyril has no clue what is going on. But the biggest shock, the main event, is saved for the man of the house, George. He comes home all puffed up and furious that his tea isn't ready and is met by a wife who just does not care. And then she drops a truth bomb that is going to absolutely shatter his world. What his friends at the club really think of him. Yep, she reveals their secret nickname for him, Pompey Ompy Pearson. Why? Because they all think he's slow and self-important. This one little revelation just demolishes George's fragile ego. For the first time, probably in years, he's speechless. The shock treatment? A massive success. So after this whole series of shocks, the family is completely shaken up. The real Mrs. Pearson, seeing that the lesson has finally sunk in, swaps back with Mrs. Fitzgerald. But this time, she returns to a family that seems, at last, ready to give her some respect. So now, let's unpack the deeper message here and figure out why this play really matters. When you get past all the magical swaps and the funny insults, what's the real takeaway here? What is J.B. Priestley really trying to tell us with this whole story?
At its core, the play's message is all about respect. I mean, on one level, it's about sharing chores and not treating mothers like servants for sure. But it goes deeper. It's about valuing all that unseen work, that emotional labor, that they do every day. And maybe most importantly, it argues that respect from other people really starts with self-respect. You have to be willing to stand up for yourself before anyone else will stand with you.
And that brings us right back to the title, Mother's Day. Priestley's point is that this whole appreciation thing shouldn't be a once-a-year deal with a card and some flowers. Real respect, real appreciation is shown every single day in all the small ways we show the people we love that we value them. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. The Pearson family, they got their wake-up call in a very, very dramatic way. The real question for the rest of us is, how do we apply that lesson without needing a magical personality swap? How can we make sure the people we love feel seen and valued and appreciated every single day?